As Russia attacked Ukraine cities overnight, President Biden promised to, quote, inflict pain on President Putin during his first State of the Union address. President Biden covering a wide range of issues, from COVID to inflation to voting rights. But of course, he started the speech with the violence in Ukraine, and he devoted the first 12 minutes to that topic alone. Allison Harris live at the White House with more. Allison.
Good morning, Adrienne. Last night, during those first 12 minutes, we saw Republicans and Democrats in Congress give many standing ovations in support of punishing President Putin, in support of the people of Ukraine, for freedom to triumph over tyranny. President Biden saying that President Putin has greatly miscalculated the global response to Putin's Russian aggression.
Madam Speaker, the President of the United States.
President Biden delivering his State of the Union Tuesday night with the overtone of war, opening his address with the crisis in Ukraine, a threat to freedom in the world.
6 days ago, Russia's Vladimir Putin sought to shake the very foundations of the free world, thinking he could make it bend to his menacing ways. But he badly miscalculated. He thought he could roll into Ukraine and the world would roll over. Instead, he met with a wall of strength he never anticipated or imagined. He met the Ukrainian people. He thought the West and NATO wouldn't respond. He thought he could divide us at home, in this chamber, in this nation. He thought he could divide us in Europe as well. But Putin was wrong. We are ready.
The president leading an emotional standing ovation for the Ukrainian ambassador, First Lady Jill Biden's guest.
Thank you.
The president announcing the Justice Department will go after the ill-begotten gains of Russian oligarchs, seizing their yachts, luxury apartments, and private jets, and announcing that the U.S. will follow Europe and Canada in imposing a no-fly zone for Russian planes.
We will join our allies in closing off American airspace to all Russian flights, further isolating Russia and adding additional squeeze on their economy. He has no idea what's coming.
President Biden promising that President Putin will keep paying the highest price, while at the same time aiming to prevent sanctions on the world's top crude oil producer from harming Americans here at home.
Tonight, I can announce the United States has worked with 30 other countries to release 60 million barrels of oil from reserves around the world. America will lead that effort, releasing 30 million barrels of our own strategic petroleum reserve. And we stand ready to do more if necessary, united with our allies. These steps will help blunt gas prices here at home. When the history of this era is written, Putin's war in Ukraine will have left Russia weaker and the rest of the world stronger.
The president also reiterated that U.S. forces are in Europe not to fight in Ukraine, but to defend NATO allies, saying that troops are not engaged and will not engage in conflict with Russian forces.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.